for Apple and Android. Go check it out, and you'll mainline right to me, Jesse T. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. We are loaded and packed for a great show live at 5 today. Yes, as you enter the Torero, we are straight on the point. Good to have you along with us on our Facebook Live feeds right now at facebook.com/ The Power of Voices and facebook.com/ Jesse Torero. And when you download that free app, you'll be able to access all the other shows that we have here at thepowervoices.com. And there are so many great shows, just an eclectic, diverse group of professionals here talking about all kinds of topics and all kinds of issues. So you'll learn a lot and you have a good time. And in that respect, we hope that you enjoy a lot of the programming we have here at the Power Voices. And of course, we're on every Monday through Friday from 5 to 6 right here in Southern California. Another beautiful day. It's a hot day in Southern California, almost 80 degrees along the Pacific Ocean today, over 100 in the upper deserts. So it is a hot day in Southern California today. The skies are blue, the wind's blowing just a little bit, but the traffic is crazy, and that makes you, oh, so blue when you're on that traffic, fighting the roads here and there and everywhere. And sometimes you just think, you go 10 miles, it takes you 45 minutes to go 10 miles. So, but that's our plight here in Southern California. That's the price we pay for paradise. We are on the air and everywhere, and from the community to the world. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We invite you to participate both visually and auditorially. It's good to have you along with us. We're broadcasting in a mobile platform right now today. I'm not directly in the studio. I'm in an undisclosed location somewhere in the high desert, or I might be in the low desert, or I might be in Burbank, or I might be in Van Nuys, or I might be in San Gabriel or Riverside. I might even be in San Diego. Quite frankly, I don't have the slightest idea where I'm at. All I know, I'm with you and you're with me, and that's all that matters. And we're together again on another terrific day in a beautiful week here as we come to the last week of summer. That's right. Think about that. We are already moving into the last days of summer. And Labor Day not too far away from us here, the big holiday vacation, the typical last weekend of summer. As school is starting to pop up, you start to see all those commercials on TV and stuff for school supplies. And thank goodness I don't do that anymore. I got about one more in college, and I've got one on the way doing what she does, and I've got another one on the way that's going to become a mechanical engineer. So, but for the ones that have little ones out there, it is an exciting time. And it's a time that you have to be concerned about crime. You have to be concerned about the safety of your children, the safety of your home, the safety of your families, and the safety of your loved ones. And so we're going to talk a little bit about crime today. And specifically, we're going to talk a couple of issues we're going to chat about here and how here in the state of California, there's some legislation that's coming down line, some legislation that was passed a few years ago. We're going to chat a little bit about some really interesting statistics that came up about human trafficking. I think are really important to know and understand and explore, because that is an epidemic across our country today, and so many young people get wrapped up in that because, as the FBI says, the internet has provided the opportunity for so many of these perverted, sick varmints, these pedophiles, these predators, to follow our children, know our children, contact our children, capture our children, destroy our children, and kill our children. So it's important, I think, that we talk about this issue and we continue to keep that on the forefront of our minds, because as school is starting, there's going to be a lot of more kids walking to school, walking home, hanging around the elementary schools and the middle schools and the high schools. And it's the predators are going to be out there, and you never know who a predator is. It could be someone you know really well, or it could be someone that you don't know. They don't fit the common Hollywood experience and of what a predator is, a pedophile, a disgusting pervert, a human trafficker, and a pimp. They just don't fit that mold. Your common pimp today working the street does not have a flamboyant automobile, because the one that he has, he doesn't ride with it, because if he gets pulled over, LAPD takes that car from him and he doesn't get it back. It gets impounded. So they're usually riding bicycles, and they're anywhere from the ages of 16 to 30. Yeah, that's right. So, the whole idea that we have wrapped up in our heads about that type of individual is completely different than the reality of what's happening on the street here. So, about a week ago, I had this epiphany, and this epiphany. Oh, you like the hair? Yes. If you're watching on the digital broadcasting network with our TV feed, you'll see the slick back Italian. Hey, how you doing? Eh? You got the Italian mafia hair going on right here. Yeah. What's wrong with you? Hey, yeah. What's it to you? Yeah, I got that Italian look going, a slick back, the widow's peak right here, the whole 9 yards. Got the black shirt on, button to the top, because I'm Italian man today. I'm expressing my Italian bloodlines today. I've decided that with all this racial inequality in our country today and all this racial quality in our country today, that I'm going to explore my innermost racial qualities. And so, at least once a week, I'm going to be one of the bloodline DNA genetics that I am, and I'm going to try to emulate that in some way. So today, I'm expressing my Italianhood. Yes, I should have a bowl of spaghetti, some meatballs. I got some pizza, lasagna, mostacellis. Come on, yeah, some wine. I gotta have some garlic bread. What's wrong with me, huh? Some spumoni ice cream. I mean, I didn't bring it all out today, but I figured the slick back kind of, woppy kind of air hair. That's a wop, a wop, a wop. That's right. I'm a wop. I got that wop blood coming out right now. Right. Okay. So maybe tomorrow I'll be Irish, and maybe the next day I'll be German. I'm just all mixed up. Let me tell you, I am. I'm a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. To kind of mix it up. But right now I'm slicking the hair back, got the roughy scruffy look. And the reason why I got the roughy scruffy look is because I've decided also that I'm going to get new photos. It's time for Jesse Terrero, the Brown Beauty, on duty to get some new headshots. I need to get some new photos. It's time for me to go out and get hooked up with an agent again. I haven't done that in about 20 years. Haven't felt that there was a need for it. But, I'm 56 years old now. I had a birthday recently. I've decided that I'm going to get an agent. I think I could play some of those guinea parts, those whoppy guinea parts, right? Yeah, you see, I can say that about myself. You can't tell me, you can't talk to me like that, because if you call me a guinea or a wop, I'm going to file racist charges against you and discrimination. Only I can say that about myself, right? You're not allowed to make any kind of comedy about me. I just want you to know that. Because if I catch you making comedy about me and my Italian American bloodline, you and I are going to have some trouble. I'm going to have not the NAACP. I'm going to have the Italian ACCCP come after you. Right? That's right. I've decided that you can't make fun of me. Only I can make fun of myself. See, I'm only allowed to talk about this guinea wop, right? That's all. Not you. You can't do it. So don't get caught doing it. Because if you do, and I work with you, I'm going to go to Human Resources, and we're going to file a major lawsuit against your company just because you called me a greaser, an Italian greaser. That's right, with the slick back hair. So you can't talk to me like that. I will take great offense if you talk to me like that. I just want you to know. Okay? All right. And you can't talk about the kind of food I eat either. You can't make any kind of fun about that. Because if you do, I'm going to get mad at you, and I'm going to file bigotry and prejudice charges against you. And I might even say you're race baiting me. Okay? So be careful how you deal with this Italian American. Right? Right. Just want you to know that. You're on my watch list here. Eye to eye, I've got you. I'm watching you. I'm listening to you. You better not be talking. Okay? I'll hear you when I walk down the sidewalk. And that's it. I'm going to come get you. Lawsuits everywhere. All right. So anyhow, I'm going to get new pictures. So I've let my hair grow because I am a boy without a barber. And thought, well, since I'm a boy without a barber, I might as well let my hair grow a little bit longer so I can get those I can get those long hair shots, and I can get that roughy scruffy shot, the hair on my chinny chin, right? Get that roughy scruffy shot. So I'm gonna do that, and then shave it all off, get my hair cut, and get that nice, really clean businessman. Yes, a clean businessman shot. Thank you very much. So that's what we're doing right now as we move into the end of summer with the start of school coming online. It is time now for us to start thinking about safety. So I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things. I'm going to get to that in just a second as we move into the Jesse T Show here live at 5. Oh, a lot of people say, Jesse, you're an activist, but you're an activist for human trafficking and stuff. Do you do any kind of other activism? Yeah, I do actually. Check it out here. I'm showing a certificate I just got. I just got this certificate. It was given to me, and it was a certificate of appreciation for Jesse G. Torero in recognition of your support and your commitment to protecting the health of our oceans from the Ocean Conservancy. Yeah, I work with them a little bit. A lot of people don't know that. I love dolphins and I love whales. Whales and dolphins and polar bears. I don't know. Whales and dolphins and polar bears. Whales and dolphins and polar bears. I love them. I just do. So, they're really cool. So they sent me a certificate of appreciation for my activism with whales and dolphins and polar bears. Whales and dolphins and polar bears. So I'm kind of proud of that. It's kind of cool. Anyhow, I just want to talk about that real quick. So I went to the doctor last week and he said, I can't have any more sugar. I got to cut the glucose sugar out of my system. So I said, okay, doc, no problem. So yesterday while I was in the studio, Lee Baby Michaels stole my chocolate chip cookie that I was going to eat. And since I'm not in the studio, I have a popsicle. I have an orange popsicle. And I'm going to eat this orange popsicle. That's what I'm going to do. And I went to the store and I got sugar-free, no sugar in this orange popsicle. So it's a hot day and I'm going to eat this orange popsicle that has no sugar in it. Okay? I bought those popsicles that have no sugar in it because I got to have a popsicle on a hot day. But it's got no sugar in it, I guarantee you. Oh, that's really good. Mm, mm. If you never had a popsicle with no sugar, they're really good actually. In fact, they're more natural than the popsicles that have a lot of sugar in them. They leave you much more refreshed. And this orange popsicle here, and Lee, I hope you're watching because I'm having a popsicle on behalf of you. Love this popsicle. It sure is good. That's my snack for the day. That's really good. When it's a hot day to have a popsicle with no sugar in it, there's nothing better. So I've been on sugar detox for maybe 5 days now, and I'm doing really well. I've figured out other ways of eating sweet stuff without sugar. Okay. Very good. All right. I'm ready. Our esteemed governor here in the state of California, Governor Jerry Brown, a few years ago when he first became governor for the second time around, he was governor way back in the 1970s when he was a young man. This is the last time he's going to be in politics. He's not going to renew and run again for any political office after his term is up here. But when he became governor, he created this proposition and backed it and put it on the voter registrar for us in the state of California here to vote. It's called Proposition 47. And basically, in a nutshell, Proposition 47 said that they would release criminals of nonviolent status early because of overcrowding of the jails. They would reduce the status of the crime and the time that you have to pay when you do the crime. Like a Beretta, you know, if you're willing to do the crime, you got to be willing to do the time. Well, they reduced that time on many crimes here in the state of California when Proposition 47 was enacted. And the way it was marketed in such a way, I remember clearly that you really didn't know what you were voting for if you just went into the voting booth and you hadn't done any kind of homework on it. The way the bold lettering was put, it seemed like something that was really terrific. So most of California, who don't read their ballot books when they vote, they kind of go in there at the last women fancy, and they vote. Most of California voted yes for it, and it overwhelmingly won. But really what the Proposition 47 did is it reduced the sentencing terms, reduced the nonviolent crime to misdemeanors, and kicked out a whole bunch of criminals back on the street from the jails. And it went retroactive back a couple, 2 or 3 years. And it went back, and the ones that were now in prison, kicked them down to reducing their sentences and kicked them out. Now, the police in all the counties of the state of California were against this, but the politicians were, because we do live in a democratic state, a Democrat state, a DNC state, a screaming left-wing liberal state, and that liberal I am not. I'm a conservative. I tend to be conservative and move to the center on issues that have logic and common sense to them. But most of the liberal agenda has no logic or common sense to me. It never has and probably never will, because I'm more conservative in my nature, just the way I was raised and the way I have lived my adult life in a lot of ways. Not to say that I have not done things that are liberal in nature. I have, because we all grow up as human beings. But as I've grown older, I've become more conservative, and I've always been part of the Republican Party. When I get mad at them, I go independent or conservative, and then I go back to them, and I vacillate between independent, really, and the Republican Party. So, but I never registered Democrat. I did once on a mistake, and had to retroactive that and kick it back out. But in that respect, I am conservative and I'm a Republican. And so there you go on that. Now, Proposition 47, all the police and sheriffs in the state of California were against it, because they basically said it's going to kick out a bunch of criminals back on the street. We're not going to know how to find them. We're not going to know where they're at, because what they did not do is fund the parole department. The parole department all over California for parolees did not fund that. So all of a sudden, these parole officers were overworked, overbooked, and overchallenged. So a lot of people just run free, can't find them. And that's what Proposition 47 did. So now all of a sudden, because of 47, LA crime statistics in the last 3 years have jumped tremendously, as much as 15 to 20% in some areas of the city of Los Angeles. Excuse me. And so they have jumped tremendously. And the reason why they've jumped tremendously is because, one, there's an overabundance of criminals and criminal behavior that's back on the street that was really off the street. And reminding you, mind you, when an officer, a sheriff or cop, arrests somebody and put them back in their car and takes them in, that means the officer and his partner or her partner are off the street for 3 to 5 hours processing that individual. That's how long it takes. So we only have about 10,000 police officers and about 10,000 sheriffs here covering all the square miles of the county and city of Los Angeles. Not anywhere near enough in numbers of policing. New York, Manhattan has 40,000. Chicago has somewhere in the area of 20,000, and you could fit Chicago proper, Cook County, in the San Fernando Valley. Maybe just a little bit bigger, but not much. So we don't have enough police officers. So you take a couple of police officers or sheriffs off the street, and then what you have is less crime fighting people out there protecting us. So that has created this funnel. So essentially, what a lot of cops do today, if you're doing a crime that you would have been popped for before and taken downtown or taken to the police division, processed, and what have you, they're kicking you. They're not even stopping you now. And if they do stop you, they just kind of, don't do that anymore and go on their way. Because they know that they're on the street in limited numbers and they got to deal with the heavy duty crimes like gangs and murders and human trafficking and drugs and all that stuff. So you see, it's created a crime explosion. Thank you, Governor Jerry Nincompoop Brown. Okay. So recently, Proposition 57 here in November is going to be voted on by, once again, we citizens here in the state of California. And Proposition 57 is one step more liberal, one step more left, one step more illogical, one step less on common sense, and one step more to releasing violent criminals on the streets of the city and county of Los Angeles, and for that matter, around the state. Because what Proposition 57, oh yes, and by the way, Governor Jerry Nincompoop Brown, he has put that together and has backed that with some fancy, colorful language that's going to be on the ballot when you go in there and you secretly, vote. But I suggest that you get your little booklet or go online and read about 57. That, of course, unless you want 23 violent criminal acts reduced down to nonviolent crimes like rape with a weapon, assault with battery, murder, sex with minors. If you want these types of criminal violent acts to be reclassified as nonviolent acts, well, then go ahead and vote yes on 57. Maybe one of those folks will move in right near you. In fact, what you should do then is just go give the parole office your address and maybe there's a rental across the street from you where you can have a human trafficker who has sexual acts with minors. Just move right in across the street. Yeah, sure. Why not? Hey, how about the terrorist that makes bombs? Because that's going to be reduced too as well from a violent crime down to a nonviolent crime under 57. You don't think I'm telling the truth? Come on now. I can't help but me, Jesse T. I see it like it is. I call it like it is. I say it like it is because it is what it is. Go do your homework on it. It'll blow your lights out, let me tell you. So we can thank our governor, the very esteemed Governor Jerry Nincompoop Brown, for Proposition 57. Now, there's one act in there that really caught my fancy in 57, is because that act itself was something that I've been personally involved with for 10 years, and that is human trafficking. I've been fighting human trafficking here in the Northeast San Fernando Valley in CD Council Seat 6 and Council Seat 7 primarily, and for that matter, all over Southern California, in Los Angeles, for about 10 years now. And the reason why I've done that is because it really bothers me that children and women get abused, and nothing had been done about it. The politicians were not interested. The police could only do so much based on what the legislature allowed them to do, and the politicians and the city council, which are their bosses here in the city of Los Angeles. The people living in the neighborhoods just threw their hands up in the air and waved them like they just didn't care because there was really not much they could do about it. when neighborhoods are overrun by prostitutes and pimps and johns and human traffickers, swooping down and kidnapping babies and children and doing all kinds of disgusting, violent crimes, whom, by the way, under 57 is going to be a nonviolent crime. So just wanted you to know that if you want 57 and more prostitution on your corner, hey, let me know. I'll make sure that the pimps come over there, okay? Yeah, they'll have a nice harbor around your yard, and you can find syringes and condoms and all kinds of disgusting, sick things in your yard when your little child is walking around your front yard with no shoes on. She steps on a syringe sticking out of the bottom of her foot. Yeah, no problem. I'll send them your way. That's right. So I've been fighting this for 10 years. Now, I'm going to be so bold and I'm going to say this because it's not a tap on my back, is what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what I did. So 10 years ago, approximately, Cindy Sauer, my partner, had been fighting this for about 20 years. And she was doing the best that she could given the perimeter of information and contacts that she had. And she'd been fighting on the front lines, literally out in front of her business and her home. I came running into her equipment rental company about 10 years ago. I've known her for 50 years. And I said, give me all the stuff about this human trafficking and pimping problem you're having. And the reason why is it became personal to me. I'm not going to go as to why it became personal, just the fact it became personal. And with my media contacts, my political contacts, and my just bull-nosed way of doing things, my, pedal to the metal way of doing stuff. The same Jesse T, the brown beauty on duty you get here, out there in the street, calling it like it is and doing what I do to make it happen. And you talk about squeaky wheel gets the oil. No. I'm like the big giant bell banging that's like 12 feet in diameter, banging at your door 24/7, bong, 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 and following you around until you recognize that bell and me standing there banging it with my sledgehammer. I don't go away. Don't give up. So because of a lot of rock throwing on my part, finger pointing, calling people out and putting them on the spot, media, my push, all the things I created at the highest levels here in the city of Los Angeles, the mayor, with our assemblymen and our state senators and our congressmen, and the police chief, Charlie Beck, and all his understudies, and the LA County Sheriff at that time, Baca, and everybody on the city council, and the county supervisors, and the newspapers, and the TV, and the internet bloggers, and the Spanish papers, and the churches, and the nonprofits, and the thousands of homes around these areas by door knocking and door knocking and door knocking, and the businesses. The paradigm changed. It's just that simple. It changed. And I'm really proud to say that over the last 5 years, it has changed to the degree of what I'm about to talk about real quickly here. Something terrific happened yesterday. Our councilwoman, Nury Martinez in CD6, announced this at a press conference that for some reason I was not allowed to be at, and for some reason I wasn't invited to, but that's neither here nor there. It's okay. No problem. But the numbers are the proof in the pudding. See, prior to Nury, Councilman Tony Cardenas was our councilman. He tried to do the best he can, but he was wanted to be a congressman, so he was kind of focusing that way. When Nury came in and she won the seat, the third day she was in, I had a conversation with her in her office and her chief of staff, and her thing was homelessness. I said, no. You need to contact, you need to really, you want to be mayor, you want to be governor, whatever. Human trafficking, pimping is really the epidemic right now. And she ran with it. She ran with it. And with our help, Cindy Sauer and all the other groups, and our continued vigilance, we were able to get out and get the word out. And this is what happened. Everything from that point on is because of what I will say I had a major role in, as well as Cindy Sauer and Nuri and the LA police and everybody else. So I'm just going to kind of go over this. It's called, it's all over the papers and the news media yesterday. A month-long crackdown on human sex trafficking crimes in the San Fernando Valley yielded more than 200 arrests, including that of several pimps and johns who solicit sex from prostitutes, Councilwoman Nuri Martinez announced on Monday. Nuri said the arrest came during a 10-month period in which the task force targeted traffickers and their customers along Sepulveda and Lancashire Boulevards. Now, before this, I had met with Deputy Chief Jorge Villegas, who is now Chief Villegas. I had met with Commander Malinowski, who was then Captain Malinowski, as well as others. I also met with Earl Pasinger, Chief Moore, and Chief Charlie Beck, the Chief of Police. Created so much stink, pointed so many fingers, that they could not deny what we wanted them to do. And so this was about 3 or 4 years ago. And they created Deputy Chief Bob Green, who is now at the Valley Division, and I know Bob, along with Nuri Martinez and the Los Angeles Police Department, created something called LAPD's Human Trafficking Task Force. Okay? We had been fighting for something like that for a long time, and they put it together. Vice Commander Mark Evans is in charge of that. Anyhow, 21 arrests for pimping and pandering, and 177 people were arrested for seeking sex from women and girls who are being trafficked. Martinez pushed for the creation of the task force. She did, which was formed last October, and $1 million was recently earmarked for the crackdown effort. She was able to secure $1 million out of LA City's budget for this effort. And this is just not locally, this is citywide. Great job, Nuri. Absolutely great job. There has always been a prostitution problem in these areas. Ever since I was a little girl, Martinez said, working with LAPD, we've been able to redirect our focus on the predators who buy and sell our women and girls, and we're proud to announce hundreds of arrests. Los Angeles Police Department officials joined Martinez at a news conference, said that 11 victims were rescued, including a 14-year-old girl. Guess what? We were the ones that participated in that 14-year-old girl's rescue, Cindy Sauer and I. And more than 200 arrests were made, primarily through working with residents together and intelligence. Gee, really? Over the past year, we have seen much success and built better lines of communication with the community, said Lieutenant Mark Evans, who leads the task force. We met with Mark when he first got the job. We've arrested many pimps and saved multiple victims, some as young as 14 years old. That gives the officers in the unit a sense of accomplishment, renewed focus, and makes all the sacrifice and sleepless nights well worth it. Well, I hope so. LAPD officials also sought the public's help in pointing them to more victims of 3 alleged pimps and panders who were arrested, and to track down 3 other alleged human traffickers whose photos are included in a recently released wanted notice. Anyone with leads must call and urge them to call LAPD at 647-TIPS at lapd.lacity.org. This is the result of our efforts. Myself, and then Cindy Sauer and myself. For without us, that would have never happened. Now, I bring that up because this is what a community can do. If you join together and you have no fear, and the true cowards are these predators, and you base your ideology in the right way, where the women that are trafficked and proselytized are the victims, you can get a lot done if you're willing to put out the effort, understand the reasoning, the argument, and the problem and the issue. Step forward as one, then two, then 21, then 81, then 1,001, then 10,001. You can build a coalition that can change your neighborhood, can change your city, can change your county, and can change this country and your world. That's the proof in the pudding right there. The proof in the pudding is right there in that article. Congratulations to LAPD. Congratulations to Vice. Congratulations to the mayor's office. Congratulations to the city council. Congratulations to Nuri Martinez. Congratulations to Cindy Sauer. Congratulations to the coalition members, the nonprofits, the people that march, the charitable events that we put on. Congratulations to those that watch and report and videotape and put up cameras. Congratulations to those that never quit. Congratulations to the media who support. Congratulations to all that have made this happen. Unbelievable what has happened. I've had my little part, I guess. Anyway, I point that out because I want you to understand that when going back to school, you have to watch your kids. You have to keep them in your eyesight. Today is a different time than I grew up. As you know, on the Jesse T Show, live at 5, straight on the point, as you enter the world according to Torero, I think out of the box. I have my own way of looking at things. And it may be normal, may not be normal, but it's the way I see things. I try to look at stuff from a common sense approach with logic. And I kind of try to point out the things that I think aren't right. And I do lament on the past sometimes more than others. I do that as a description to show you how far it's changed and how different our world is today. You have to watch your kids. You have to be with your kids. You cannot trust your teachers. You cannot trust your principals. You cannot trust your priests. You cannot trust other kids that might look like them, who seem to be the same age, but they're really not. They're just shells to lure your children near a van or a park so they can be kidnapped. Happens all the time. You have to trust your children, but not allow them to have all of the technology in their hand, no matter what. Too bad, you're the parent, they're the child. Put controls on that technology through different apps. They can't do this and they can't do that. You have to teach your children. You have to have respect for them, but demand that they have respect for you first, because you're the parent, they're the child. You got to keep a watchful eye open all the time. Keep your ears open all the time. Keep your gut open all the time. Never trust until you verify. Only through verification can you trust. It's going back to school time. And since Proposition 47, we just have a lot more criminals on the street. Simple. Thank Jerry Nincompoop Brown for that. You voted for him. I didn't. Obviously, you all voted for him because he won the governorship. Think about where you put your vote this year. Think about that. He wants 57 to go through. That means there's going to be nonviolent criminals who used to be violent criminals back on the street. Now, if that doesn't unsettle you, I don't know what will. Because you see, in reality, The only person who's responsible for your children is you. That's it. And unfortunately, that's where it's come to in our world today. The criminals have more rights than good citizens. The men and women who have died on the battlefield for our rights, our liberty, which creates our freedom in this republic called the United States of America, America the Beautiful. The criminals, because of lawyers, special interest groups, do-gooders, and everybody has to have a right. Sorry, not in Torero's world. Your rights are earned by your deeds. Your deeds are ahead of you. They don't follow you. You don't get second chances. I argue this with people all the time. Second chances should come far and few to those who really can be proven that should have a second chance. You run with the wrong crowd. You go to bed with dogs, you wake up with fleas. Don't run with the dogs. And there's no excuses that you didn't learn that. We parents have to be in charge of the safety and health of our young'uns. Because if you're not, the internet and the human traffickers and the pedophiles and the predators and the perverts or the preverts will be in charge of them. Sorry, tattoos all of your body don't work in my household. Sorry, metal in your face and all over your body don't work in my household. Sorry, profanity doesn't work in my household. Sorry, fighting with your family and disrespect doesn't work in my household. Sorry, getting bad grades doesn't work in my household. Sorry, not living by the rules and the instructions of our society, America, doesn't work in my household. Sorry, you're going to do it my way, which is the right way, or we're going to be having some problems on the highway. See, that kind of love is not expressed too much every day, it seems like. Our children don't know they're not safe. They've only lived on this earth for a few moments of time. We know, though, Proposition 57 has got to be a big fat no. There's a recall on 47. When you get that petition, sign it that you don't want it. Criminals need to do the time for the crime. We build more prisons then. If we don't have enough prisons, we build more. Rehabilitation doesn't take place in a prison. Then we lock them up. And as far as I'm concerned, we lock them up for longer. You shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have did it. I've lived on this planet for 56 years. I've never been in prison or jail. And my life hasn't been rosy perfect. Nobody's has. So when you look at what's happening, this is what we need to do. We need to look at the way in which that we describe how we want to live in this country. And we have to make our politicians accountable for it. So this leads me to the last part of the show, which I want to talk about. And that is your president and mine, President Obama. The greatest president that this country's ever seen. You know something? I am so glad that he came around, because without him, we would have failed into the deep, dark tunnel of abyss, a hole so deep and the water so dark that we would have never gotten out. Thank the Lord for hope and change. Oh my goodness, I wanted to get down on my knees and pray to the almighty Obama. Oh, he's been so wonderful a president. He's done so much for my Italian American brothers. Yeah, he's done so much for my Italian American sisters. He's done so much for me. I tell you, unbelievable what this man has accomplished. I think they should cut another face in Mount Rushmore and put Obama's face there. I think that they should take Benjamin Franklin off the $100 bill and put Obama's face there. I think that every high school in the United States of America should be called Obama High School. I think that if it wasn't for Obama, we just wouldn't be a country anymore. The greatest president of all time is doing this right now, just so you know. There's not much left in his presidency, but this is what he's doing right now, which I think is the greatest thing the world's ever seen. Every president does it. Every president, at the end of their presidency, commutes bad guys. Every president does it. I think that they should take that commute thing and flush it down the toilet, especially at the end of the presidency. The president shouldn't be able to have that kind of power to commute anybody's sentence in prison. That's what I think. I don't think that our president should have that kind of ultimate power, but he does, just like the governors do and judges do. Nevertheless, what he's doing now is he's commuting. He's writing these commute letters, and he's releasing tons of prisoners around American prisons back out on the streets on December 28th. Yeah, isn't that great? Let me just bring this up because I want to make sure I get the number. Okay. Commute prisoners, Obama. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. This is out of the Washington Post. Okay? The Washington Post today reports, well, it might not report anything if it's this little iPad of mine doesn't work properly. Now, isn't that something? Isn't that just the way it always is? When you want something to work, it doesn't work. All right, well, let's take this out of Politico. Maybe Political. Okay, there we go. We'll bring it up. Obama commutes sentences for 111 more federal prisoners. President Obama commuted the sentence of 111 federal prisoners on Tuesday, bringing his total to 673
as the administration tries to ramp up relief for nonviolent felons hit by decades-old sentencing requirements. Obama has granted 235 commutations in August alone, more than any other president in a single month, and he has granted more clemencies than the previous 10 presidents combined. The Justice Department announced a sweeping effort in 2014 to adjust the sentences for people swept up by mandatory minimums that are now widely viewed as draconian and unjust, especially for nonviolent crimes. But while it was initially intended to grant relief to low-level drug offenders, people convicted of deeper roles in drug dealing operations are also starting to benefit. That means that while Obama is shortening their sentences, their new terms still stretch, in some cases, into next decade or two, long after Obama leaves the office. Now, check it out. I brought up Jerry Brown earlier because he's trying at the end of his governorship to essentially do the same thing with Proposition 57. That DNC devil. He did it with 47. And it just seems to me that guys like Emmanuel Lewis, the mayor of Chicago, with crime, violence, and murders up to about 2,800, more than even Los Angeles ever had at its worst, which was about 1,600 30 years ago, are cats that just love to be the opposite of what basic logic and common sense says. That is, you do the crime, you do the has. Well, what did I tell you? Obama's the greatest president the United States of America's ever had. Especially if you're a Muslim terrorist or an illegal immigrant. I call them illegal immigrants. The fancy name is illegal aliens. Or if you're a citizen that breaks the law, and they find out that you aren't part of this country, send you back, and you come back, and you kill somebody. Or if you're one of his cronies and best friends. Or if you are African American. Oh, wait a second. Didn't unemployment increase under Obama tremendously in the African American society? Something like 58%? I know we Italian Americans have been hurt by it. Or maybe he's the greatest president if you're in the public educational system. Yeah. Oh no, or you love him if you get that Obama phone that I see just about on every corner getting away for free. And you love him if you think ISIS is a JV team, you love that. Oh, he's the greatest president ever. It seems like he always goes to every young African American, black male or female that dies. But he never goes to anybody who's white. Their funeral. He certainly doesn't go to any Italian Americans. Yeah, he's the greatest president ever. I'm telling you, he's going to go down as the greatest president this country has ever had. Especially if you think the military is okay. And we don't need any more military. Especially if you're his buddy in Chicago, Emmanuel, whatever his name is. His own state, where he was senator at, they're murdering people left and right. Oh, that's because you can't have a gun in Chicago.
No, no. But the bad guys can. So just so you know, the bad guys always have guns. The good guys aren't allowed to in Chicago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. He's the greatest president ever. Oh, especially if you don't mind living in debt at the federal level of 19 to 20 trillion dollars by the time he gets out. No problem. Yeah, yeah. Oh, what about unemployment? Oh, that's really low on the G4 measure stick, but the real measuring stick is called G6. Nobody talks about that. When you go to the unemployment statistics of the United States of America, look under the G6 platform. That'll tell you that about 90 million Americans have given up trying to find jobs and work. But unemployment is down. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's down. Yeah. Yeah, he's the greatest president ever. He is the greatest president that Allah, when I think about President Obama, I think of Islam. I don't know why that is. I know he's a Christian. I know he's a Christian. He said he was a Christian. Or did he say he was a Christian? I think he said he was a Christian. Yeah, did he say he was a Christian? I'm confused. I thought that he said once that he liked Islam, but he was a Christian. Gosh darn it. Well, he's a Christian Islamic, or an Islamo-Christian. He's a new hybrid. Yes, the hybrid. Yeah. Oh, he's the greatest president ever. Absolutely. Oh yeah. We just have too many guns, and those guys in San Bernardino that got slaughtered after they gave that Muslim terrorist, jihadist, crazy psychopath, and I'm glad she got herself whacked and her husband in person. Or did she get herself whacked? I can't remember. She should have, but she didn't. Anyway, sorry, that's the Italian coming out of me, Italian American coming out of me, sorry. So I was born in Chicago. You guys didn't know that, so I can talk about Chicago. I was born there. They walked in and just decided they didn't like their gifts for their child because just the day before, or maybe earlier that day it was, they were giving a party for the little baby. And I guess they got pissed. You talk about having to return the gifts. Boy, they got pissed. They murdered them all. I guess he's the greatest president ever. He's done so much for everybody. It's unbelievable. I agree. Obama is the greatest president the United States of America has ever had. Absolutely. If you want to create religious disorder, religious hatred, civil unrest, civil disorder, civil hatred, you want to race bait, you want to pit Americans against Americans, and you want to destroy us from the inside, make us unemployed and weak, put us in debt, take our guns away. You want to do that? He's the greatest president ever. And Governor Jerry Brown should be his vice president. Jesse Torello with you. The Brown Beauty is still on duty. Hey, we're here Monday through Friday from 5 to 6. It's the Jesse T Show. We are straight on the point live at 5. You've entered the world according to Torero, and it's good to have you along with us. Great shows lined up this week. We got a terrific show. Show you how to pay off your mortgage tomorrow. Then we're going to talk about saving the Amazon jungle so that we can all have oxygen. Brand new film has been produced. We're going to have the producer, director, and writer in here on Thursday. And on Friday, we got Friday Time Fun Music Day. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, the Brown Beauty is off duty. See ya.